You have been a member of a standing committee of the Parliament on External Affairs. Not many people know about its role and its function. How does it function? I mean, what's its role? How it is useful in the business of Parliament?
I knew something about the Standing Committee on External Affairs even before I became a member, and have served on this committee for the last year and a half. The standing committees in India's Parliament were set up quite late in the 1990s. And the first two chairpersons of the Standing Committee on External Affairs were two very distinguished people, Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Inder Kumar Gujral. And the third chairperson happens to be my mother, Krishna Bose, who was chair of the Standing Committee on External Affairs for 5 years, from 1999 to 2004. And she actually tried to make it a much more active committee. She almost tried to run it as if it were the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. So I had heard about how she brought in expertise from outside government to educate and inform parliamentarians about what to do during major international crises, such as Afghanistan in 2001 and Iraq in 2003. So when I got the opportunity to make a choice as to which committee I should serve on, I chose the External Affairs Committee. And I have to say that even though Parliament gets disrupted, a good bit of constructive work gets to be done in the standing committees. Let me give you just one example. I think that the standing committee on which I serve played a very major role in creating a consensus on the land boundary agreement with Bangladesh. Now, here is an agreement that had not been ratified by Parliament for as many as 40 years. And so I took part in the deliberations. I made sure that there was language in the report that we adopted unanimously and presented to Parliament, which would balance the national interest, the state's interest, and also the human interest, the interest of the human beings who lived in the enclaves that were going to be exchanged. And I also made sure that the state chief minister, the chief minister of West Bengal, the state that I come from, felt comfortable that she was being consulted at the highest political level. And that meant that we were able to have this historic breakthrough. And not only was the report adopted unanimously in the standing committee, but we were able to pass a constitution amendment bill unanimously in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. And I made a major speech on the occasion when our External Affairs Minister, Sushma Swaraj, brought that bill before Parliament.
Are the decisions always unanimous about the reports that are submitted by the...
We try to create unanimity and consensus. Sometimes there can be dissenting notes given by some members. In the case of the Indo-Bangladesh Land Boundary Agreement, we were able to achieve unanimity. Now, I do feel, though, that sometimes the work of the committee gets to be somewhat routine. Simply looking at the budgets of the departments, and it is important because we feel that the External Affairs Ministry is very underfunded. It has a budget of only 15,000 crores, which I think is too little. So we should look at all of that. But I think we should play a much more proactive role in overseeing the conduct of India's foreign policy. And this, I think, is something that some members of the External Affairs Committee can move towards, because we have some very fine members. We have Shashi Tharoor, who's chairing the committee. There's Dr. Karan Singh. I am there. The Foreign Secretary comes to depose before us. We would also like to see our Foreign Service expanded. We want to see more lateral entry from the academic world and from the private sector which will bring a breath of fresh air to our foreign service. So these are all issues that we discuss in the Standing Committee, and we make our recommendations.
So that makes it a very useful forum.
Useful forum, and I think it can be made even more useful through the active engagement of several members. I know that my mother, Krishna Bose, made a major difference during those 5 years that she chaired the committee. And after that, there was a period when it was perhaps not as active and engaged. But again, at this moment, I think we have a very fine committee, and I think we can play a major role in even shaping some aspects of India's foreign policy.